Good morning. Today is New Year's Day, and I want to wish us all a very, very happy New Year. We're going to be talking about resetting for 2025. Good morning, Dr. Renner and Maje. It's a pleasure to have both of you on the program this first day of 2025. Um, it's actually amazing that we're having our program today. I'm not sure how many people are going to be with us, but we really have to sort of take it in a different way and say, what do we need to do in 2025? And a lot of people have had so much stress over the past year. I mean, we don't want to describe what we've all been through with the devaluation of the naira, the stresses, the end bad governance, the all manner of things that have happened over the year. So I thought what would be good for this morning would be really to talk about a reset because we don't want to carry over the past 2024. 2024 is over. This is 2025, 8 a.m. on 2025. And we're saying, how do we look at 2025? How do we do a reset? Almost like rebooting a computer, starting afresh. So, Dr. Renner, can I start with you and say, what are your thoughts? How do we take this forward this year? We don't want to look back. We don't want to look back. We want to just charge ahead and create a new year. We want to create a new beginning. We want something, exciting to happen. We want a positive future, and we want to do a reset now. So how do we go about it?
Okay. Happy New Year to you, Dr. Pamela. Happy New Year to the listeners, and Happy New Year, Maje. So 2024, thankfully, is behind us. Couldn't wait to see the back of that annus horribilis. But that being said, I think the new year always gives one an opportunity to start afresh, which is why the 1st of January is usually the time when people would make resolutions. Whether they keep it or not is an entirely different question. But I believe that it gives one the opportunity to have a clean slate and set new goals. While on the one hand, we might want to forget the horrible things that might have happened in the previous year, I think it's still valuable to look back and to see what goals we had set for ourselves, what goals we could not achieve, and then which of them we would like to still go ahead with. Because, of course, for some of these goals, events might have overtaken, those, set goals. So looking back at the horrible things that might have happened, of course, is something that we try not to dwell on. But of course, it's important to learn from the past, which is what I think, it's important when you're trying to start afresh to say, okay, what mistakes did I make? And how do I avoid making these mistakes again? And so at the end of the day, I think we have to, balance it to say that, yes, I'm starting afresh, but I really would not like to make the mistakes of the past. Of course, going ahead and going forward with hope and with all that enthusiasm that the new year always brings.
Thank you. Maje, what's your thoughts on how do we go about resetting for 2025?
I love the points the good doctor just made. Thank you for that. Yes, we made it to 2025, which I'm really thankful for. And I like the idea of looking forward and not looking back. And for me, I see a real trend towards wellness and mental health and safeguarding your mental health, And I think that the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to start to really hone in on the things that we can control. And that is usually the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis, from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed, and how that is serving your health. So rule of thumb for me is I'm going to try to make at least 2 to 3 choices in the day that I would take action on that will benefit my health. For example, starting the morning. I mean, I know we've all had, or most of us have had very stressful 2024s, So 2025, how are you waking up in the morning? What are you doing? I think one of our biggest challenges is how we combat stress. And my first point would be, put your phone away. You're waking up in the morning, don't reach for that phone. Sunlight before screen light. So use 30 minutes in the morning. If you can, I understand getting kids ready for school and all of that, getting ready for work. Take 30 minutes in the morning, phone free, to meditate, take a walk, get some activity, do some exercise. It's a great way to start your day. But really, it's about prioritizing the choices that you're making. So, like I said, your focus is on health now. So, you're making choices as far as you're managing stress. You're making choices as far as when you are exercising, how often you are exercising, and how committed you are to it. And then, of course, being very, very mindful about the things that you are eating, the way that you are eating. Health is wealth, and there is no mistake. Everybody knows if your health fails, nothing else matters. But most of it is in your hands and in the choices that you make. So, my advice, exercise more, move more, but intentionally. Walking should be your best friend. Make it your best friend. And what we miss out, and so many of us don't do, is strength training. Strength training is vital for your health. And as you get older, it should honestly be your retirement plan. You should be intentional about resistance training, lifting weights, because if you don't use it, you will lose it. And for the younger ones, get into the habit now. If you feel you're slim and you're in shape, that's okay. But man, life happens really fast. So I truly, truly recommend you get into the habit now. That is my advice at this point.
Thank you very much. In fact, it's interesting you should say that because strength training is something that, also one needs to be intentional about all your muscle groups. I'll tell you why I say I've been doing a bit of strength training, a bit of walking, trying to keep myself well. And the other day I was putting something in the oven. Sorry, I was trying to take something out of the oven. And honestly, it just dropped. It just completely dropped. And I just realized, you know what? My fingers, I have not been strengthening my fingers. And I actually have no strength in my fingers. I hadn't noticed it, but it's been more and more. I've just turned around and say, Richard, open this bottle. Or somebody open this for me. Somebody open that for me. I've been always farming out those little things. And so it took the dropping of that dish in the oven for it to really come to me that, you know what? We have to exercise the hands as well. The fingers have to be built up. You can't leave out any muscle group because everything is important. It's all holistic. But let me go back to you, Dr. Renner, and to take forward what some of the things you spoke about earlier.
Yes, so I mean, just to chip into what Maje had said, I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of also realized that I couldn't do very effective pull-ups because I think I have the upper body strength of a kitten. So I really struggled, to do pull-ups, but I've been improving. And it's kind of like if you end up working one set of muscles or one muscle group, the muscles that do the movements that oppose it get weaker, and there's a higher tendency for you to injure yourself. So, when you're making certain movements. And so it's important to train muscle groups, in a very targeted and holistic manner. That being said, Maje has said it all when it comes to health, what you eat. And a lot of people have a lot of repenting to do from the holiday season, given that, we're all given to indulging in the.
In fact, we have to repent now. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Exactly. So repent now, even though I know people are still in the holiday mood. So that being said, mental health is really important. And of course, for my field, when it comes to children, and pediatrics, I would say maybe I should just speak to social media and how the social media habits, of children, especially in the teenage years, can affect their view of their body images. And as a matter of fact, even for adults as well, as Maje said, sunlight before phone light. Some of us, the first thing that we do when we wake up is look straight at our phones. And the phones are a constant reminder that you haven't answered 2,000 emails, So I saw this watch ad that said that know the time without knowing that you haven't answered 2,000 emails. So maybe get an alarm clock. But specifically with social media, I find that a lot of young people are very impressionable. And the reality is that when they see certain types of, celebrities, figures, people doing certain things, there's a lot of pressure on them to want to be and do those things, even though they are perfectly fine as they are in their own way, But there's just this thing that the media and essentially pop culture, popular culture just pushes on how a person should look, how a person should think, how a person should feel, and that has a significant impact on one's mental health. And it really doesn't even stop with the kids. Actually, it also even translates to the adults, where everybody's trying to pepper. That's the colloquial term. Everybody's trying to make everybody feel like, oh, they're doing so fantastically well. But media isn't real. So if you do anything in 2025, let it register in your mind that social media is curated. It is content that is made to seem like it is perfect, but in reality, no one's life is like that. And so if you take anything away from this, just let it be in your mind that you are on a different journey from everyone else, and that you are exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. Set your goals. Make sure you write everything down. I cannot emphasize this enough. You are not a computer. You are not going to remember everything. So write down your goals and try to follow them up on a daily basis, as Maje said, making sure that you actually try to achieve those little goals that end up making the whole.
Thank you. I think that's so important. What is perception and what is reality? Understanding the social media is not reality. It's something that a lot of people struggle with, particularly the young ones. Understanding that it's just how people want to project themselves, and understanding that that is not real and your life is real and the people around you are real. I think that is a very, very important message. And we parents, grandparents, to also please echo this kind of message to your children, grandchildren. Because children and grandchildren are not likely to be listening to this program, but the parents and the grandparents will be. And so it's important that these messages are taken home. Thank you very much. Oh, wow, that was so interesting. Maje, can you tell us, a bit more about some of the things that people should focus on at this time?
Sure, absolutely. In as much as we all, made it out of 2024, I think that we can all agree that a lot of our stressors will continue into 2025. So again, you just have to
as I say, it is not my portion.
It's not my portion in Jesus' name. But but always stay ready. Always stay ready. That's my motto. And I think that, again, it's about being proactive about your choices and prioritizing the things that are important, like sleep. A lot of us are sacrificing sleep for multiple reasons. And I hear a lot of clients complain they're not getting enough sleep, they have insomnia, and I ask them very simple things. Are you trying to watch TV to go to sleep? Are you setting up an environment in your room that actually encourages sleep? Or you cannot tell me you can't sleep enough, but you're binging on Netflix. Prioritize something that's important so that you are starting your next day on a full tank of gas as opposed to running on empty. We all know what 2 days of minimum sleep can do to us, but the medical risks are just not worth it. And the doctors on this panel will confirm that it's so detrimental to your health. So I think it's important. Be proactive, actually be intentional about your sleep every day because it is so important. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that sleep is important. It's actually very interesting that because I found more and more recently, I can't sleep for long enough. So it's not even a matter of just getting to sleep. It's also a matter of staying asleep.
And
so
getting
how
quality
do you
sleep.
handle that? Yes, getting good quality, longer sleep. What are your recommendations for
I
that?
think that again, that is also down to your choices throughout your day as well. How active are you through the day? If your lifestyle is very sedentary, I spoke earlier about exercising in the morning, but also what's your movement like throughout the day? Are you consistently moving? I think the best thing that I do for myself is ensure that I'm keeping up with my steps. I am religious with my steps because that will immediately tell you how much movement you're making throughout your day. And the key is to be consistent throughout. It's not enough to just do it in one portion of your day. And things like that, making up your steps, being active will actually help you once you get to bedtime and it's time to get your sleep. You'll be burnt out enough. Physically, stress is not burning you out. Okay? So that's very
it's burning
important.
out in another kind of way. Burning your mental health out.
And not in a good way. And also, as you know, the doctor pointed out, write things down. And I think not just to do things, but I think journaling as well is another amazing way
Mm.
to help you identify things that could be stressing you out, getting through to the root causes of issues. I think
Okay,
that will
so
also help you
if
sleep
I can
happy.
then jump over back to you, Dr. Renner. Root
Mm.
cause of stress. What's the biggest one?
The root cause of stress, the biggest one. Um,
Hmm.
Oh, I think he's frozen.
Apart from one, turmoil, I imagine is the most common reason why a person would be completely stressed and would be unable to sleep because they're having nightmares about the things that they can't afford, at night. And this is the reality of a lot of Nigerians. And of course, I think this is also a note to self. And as Maje has said, journaling, I think, is very cathartic. And if you're journaling anything, then I think at the beginning of the year, and of course, I had to listen to this very closely when I went for this human capacity building training thing that I attended. And what he said was that one, set financial goals. I mean, yeah, I think that's important. And then two, have multiple sources of income. Earnings, doing things as simple as frying chin chin, doing things as simple as making zobo. You'd be surprised how much a person can make online, selling some of those things. And so have multiple sources
You
of
know,
income.
I want to stop there because you see the problem I have with this issue of a lot. I know a lot of people talk about a lot of multiple sources of income, but then that means you're not doing your first job properly. And then you run the
Yeah.
risk of losing your primary assignment
Sort
because
of.
you're so busy doing so many different things. You're not focused on what you need to be focused on, and that's your main money earner. So how do you manage all of that? Because
Well,
then so you start getting
yeah.
issues. They start writing letters. They give you warnings at work, and you're busy burning the, midnight oil, making cake here, making
on,
zobo
on both
here,
on both on
doing
both ends.
jewelry. How do you balance it?
So I certainly hope that I mean, no one is getting multiple sources of income at the expense of their primary occupation. And if again one is finds out that one is doing that, then something's got to give. It's got to be one or the other. But I think that there is a way in which one can balance the two, so doing your primary job and then having something to do on the side. Especially if especially if in your leisure time, you can actually just dedicate just a little time to make sure that you're doing something that one you enjoy and that can just help you make a quick buck or two, on the side. So I think that and please attend financial courses, get advice, read books, try to find ways in which you can elevate your knowledge as far as finances is concerned. And I think it would be something that would be worth your while in 2025.
Well, I think so. I want to agree with that. I think, we have to find a way that is effective and works for us and doesn't actually
Yeah.
actually end up being, counterproductive at the end of the day. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Now, a question that has come through is this whole issue of how do I stay consistent? And, I have, start off every year trying to lose weight. I go to the gym for the first 1 month, but by February, I can't keep it up anymore. And I've run out of steam. Maje,
Mm.
please, what kind of words of advice? Because it's very easy to say, oh, be consistent. Yeah, but
Mm.
people are trying to be consistent, but they can't, they just don't seem to be able to make it. How can you
Sure.
help?
I 100% respect that problem. Consistency is tough for everybody, even the best of us, I struggle with it. So I think that we do set ourselves up with barriers sometimes,
Mm.
especially when it comes to exercise and going to the gym. The gym itself is a barrier because for most people it involves getting up and leaving your house, getting to the gym, and once you have a busy day, it goes out of the window. That's it. And all it takes is a trip away, one weekend away, and all the work you've done is done. So, my advice for people with consistency is to get familiar with working out and exercising at home in the
Mm-hmm.
comfort of your home, learning about body weight and actually doing body weight exercises. I do so much of that. So, take for example, I take my 20-minute walk. I'm going to make sure I do 2 kilometers walking in the morning when I wake up before I touch my phone. Now, in my circuit, I'm measuring my steps and so on. I'm stopping every 200 meters, 300 meters, and I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing squats. I'm doing jumping jacks. That way I am getting a workout in. I do the same thing in the evening when I'm done with my day. And then I will just be taking intentional walks for 2, 3 minutes every hour through the day. Even in meetings, I'm standing up in meetings because I know it's important to stand up every hour. So if you can think about prioritizing it as a mindset, like this is something I have to do. How can I work my lifestyle around it? And really knowing that you can exercise anytime, anywhere, because it's as simple as a walk. As simple as that, it will make a difference in your consistency. And I'm more consistent that way.
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, just to chip in, that's a brilliant point because I find that one of the reasons why I might become inconsistent with my exercise or nutrition regimen is the idea that I have fallen falling away from the straight and narrow, and I've fallen off the tracks. So I kind of feel like, oh, okay, so since I had a candy bar today, then I might as well just just
Have another
carry
one.
him. Yeah, have another one and just carry him off the rails, and that's not the mindset to actually have, because the fact that you've had one setback doesn't mean that all the effort that you've put in is lost. And because you've missed one day of whether it's the gym or your home workout, the fact that you've missed one session doesn't mean that you have lost all the benefits that you have gained from the previous one. And so you should just, oh, woe is me, and then roll over, and say, oh, I'm done.
Sleep.
Yes, and go back to sleep.
So that rolling over and going back to sleep is a terrible one. Get up.
Yes.
Get up.
Get up and move. Absolutely.
No, it's actually very interesting because just last week, they were talking about us going to Owambe's and eating so much, and say, okay, look, if you're at the Owambe, don't just sit there eating and eating and eating. Get up, dance. At least you can dance. And that's something that, I've tried to take away and try to implement myself. I think sometimes it's also those little things that help you to make a difference. Because yes, when that little voice that says, it's all over, you've eaten that chocolate, you've gained the weight anyway, so just leave it. So it's important to battle those kind of voices or those kind of feelings that you have. They're just telling you that, you should give up and roll over and just go back to sleep anyway. I think it's so important to fight that mental battle to keep yourself on track or to get yourself back on track. I think getting back on track is so much harder. So Maje, please, you were about to say something.
Sorry, I'm trying to contain myself, but you just made such a wonderful point, and that there's so many people that feel they're too far gone, as far as maybe they've just put on too much weight, it's too long a journey, and that mindset of just understanding that it's a lifestyle, it's so important because it's patience. So many of us want to set goals for ourselves. Oh, within 3 months, I want to do this, or 6 months. No, 3 years, 4 years of this is what it takes. Put it into years and change that mindset. Look at how it makes you feel, not how it makes you look.
I think that's so important. Now, I know we're coming to the end of the program. So I don't know if, Dr. Renner, you have anything you want to share with us, particularly in this regard? Anything else that we've left out that you think, any gems that we can give people to take away today as we start the new year and reset the whole issue of resetting for 2025?
Yes, it's just to, say to everyone once again, a very happy new year to all, one and all. And just to say that the new year gives us an opportunity to wipe the slate clean and set new goals and pursue them doggedly, and to not allow setbacks to completely derail us. Look for someone to talk to about your setbacks. Look for someone to share those moments with, so that you have the strength from something outside yourself. If you don't think you have the internal motivation to keep yourself going, look for someone to talk to. It helps. It does. It really does.
I think so. I think what you're talking about is an accountability partner. Have somebody you can even walk with. Someone who you can share your ups and downs with. I think that is something. Thank you so much for that. So having an accountability partner who will help us in our reset for 2025. Maje, what gems do you want to give us? Last gems you want to give us to take away now?
Wonderful points made today. I think that, like I said, focus on how it makes you feel. But more importantly, we tend to hide a lot behind the lifestyle here, going out. I mean, they talk about the Lagos life being so robust. And what I see out there is a whole bunch of substance abuse. People are
Mm,
hiding their stress in alcohol, not just in Dirty
mm.
December, but on weekends. They go out
Yes.
regularly and wonder why they don't have the time for this or why their health is suffering. Moderation, everything in moderation. From your alcohol consumption, which so many of us do and don't realize is substance abuse, like I said, to the way you exercise, and to honestly admitting and knowing when you're not okay and when you need support, when you need help, to reach out to talk. We are communal beings. We cannot isolate ourselves and deal with problems on our own. And my last point, with everything I've said, would be to leverage your body to access your mind.
Mm.
Use
Can you explain that?
exercise, use your movement, your exercise to help you set a foundation of health, to combat stress, to give yourself the best chance should anything happen. So many of us go into surgery, don't come out because we're not strong enough. So many of us don't wake up in the morning because we're not making the right health choices. It's not an exact science. Just give yourself the best chance by making good health choices on a day-to-day basis. Even when you fall off, get back on. Leverage the body to access the mind.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So wishing everyone a wonderful and happy and blessed new year. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for new video updates.